Alright, we are going to be installing the oil pump, which goes right here. We have some torque specs here. If I can get the glare off the page here, sorry about that folks. Oil pump to cylinder block, 289, 23 to 28 feet-pounds. We have our oil pump drive shaft. And this thing has a purpose and has a direction. If this was not on here, when you slip this thing into its respected bore, which connects to the end of the distributor, there would be enough movement that if it were to stick in the end of the distributor, it would pull it out of the oil pump and it could fall down into the oil pan. Ask me how I know. First time that I installed one of these rebuilding a car, I stuck it on there like that, and that is the wrong way. So when I pulled the distributor out, it came out and it fell into the oil pan, and I had to pull an oil pan off to get that out. These things are set kind of loose, but this thing will slide, and it only slides one way. It will not slide down. It's got a little bit of a taper to it, which I'm not sure if you guys can see, but it's kind of angled this way, which means you can slide it up, but it will not go down very easily. So if you go too far with it, you may have to drive it off and then drive it all the way back on to get it back where you want it. But this one was down to there, and that was just holding in that far from it pulling out. Well, that's probably okay, but I went ahead and scooted it up a little bit, so now the thing is going to stay in there that far. There's no way that's going to fall out. So that is a very important tip for anybody who's ever taken one of these apart or going to take one of these apart. That does serve a purpose. And I don't know if I can set up the shot to show you, but we'll check it out here in a minute. We'll see if we can. I will put this in, and then I will try to get a shot of it through here maybe and show you that it lifts up and down, but it won't come out. So, very good information. So now we are going to put it right there for now. We are going to put on our gasket, and because I have this nice little witness mark on which direction it was, and it really shouldn't matter, the thing will fit either way, but since I have a nice little witness mark, I'll just make it match the shadow. And it looks like, I believe that is it right there. Yeah. Pretty sure that's it right there. So, gasket is definitely larger than the hole in the block. That's good. The next thing we want to make sure is that the gasket is at least same size a hole on that one, and it is. Gasket's just slightly bigger than the hole on the oil pump too. There have been some instances where this hole may be smaller and that hole may be larger, and I've seen people open these things up so that way it doesn't create any kind of a lip effect where it would cause a cavitation in that oil. Helps it flow freely through there a lot better. That is pretty much all there is to it. Set our gasket on here. You're going to guide that rod right into the hex, and then We'll start it with our couple of bolts here. And try not to move my gasket in the meantime. There's no type of Loctite you need on these. These things shouldn't back out, shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. Just clean out your holes, your threads, make sure everything goes in nice and smooth. It'll torque down, and you'll be done. And we'll be one step closer on our project. Now earlier I did put a little lubrication on this chain down in here, the timing chain, and you can probably, if you're going to put this together pretty quick and flip it over, you could drizzle a little oil on this side of it, let it run down the chain, give a little extra lube. If you let it set like that too long, it'll probably start dripping out the top of the block. But if you missed an opportunity to lubricate your chain, this would be a place you could do it. If you got a catch pan underneath, it probably won't make too much of a mess. It'll probably just come out that hole there on the lifter valley. So, pump's got a little bit of movement. I don't think that's really critical. Looked like it changes any issues or interferences with the flywheel, or not flywheel, the counterweights. That might be something to take note of. Now, next question is, might need a swivel bit to get in there with the torque wrench. And I picked those up from AutoZone many years ago. I think they still have them. They're a Duralast swivel. It's kind of one of the nicest ones I've come across. It's got a pretty heavy pin. If you treat it right, you're not going to break it. It's better than the, what is that, 4-jointed swivel that kind of binds up. I have not had too many issues with this thing wanting to bind. You can run that thing all the way to one side and it will rotate freely without binding. So that has worked out really good for me. Okay, set this thing up for 23 to 28. There's 20, 27, let's go 27. We'll go 1 pound shy. Should be pretty good, right? That one, and there's that one. Not too bad. Could probably put a little longer extension on there. It might make it a little easier to get in there, but that worked out good enough for me. That is solid. We still haven't tightened that one up yet. Let's see if we got a spec on that one. Oil pump cover, filter. And oil inlet tube is 12 to 15. So we'll run over here to my inch pound. And 12 would be 144. My memory serves me correctly. Okay. Is that ½ inch? Yeah. ½ inch. Don't think there should be any particular direction this needs to be, but I will hold up lightly on it to make sure it is in the downward most position closest to the pan. There's that one. There's that one. Okay, we have an installed oil pump. Now, all we got left to do is the oil pan. And let me grab a light here. Pull you guys off the stand. Sorry for the noise. Turn on my screen here so I can see. Okay, that is our oil pump drive shaft. If you grab this thing, that is, ooh, hey, we try to get in the shot there. See, that is all the more it'll move. So there is no way you're going to accidentally lift that thing out and have it fall out into the pan. That is the sole purpose of that little clip, is to give it just enough to keep it from falling out so it doesn't end up in the oil pan and it stays exactly where it's supposed to be. So that is your tip for that. Don't put it in wrong. You'll either have to pull an oil pan, which I'm pretty sure I did, because I don't think there's any way you're going to fish that out. Because you're not going to fish it out through a dipstick tube. Probably not going to fish it out through the oil drain plug, but they do have some really nice flexi magnets nowadays, and even some with cameras built onto them. So if you had a camera one with a magnet on the end, you might be able to fish that thing out of an oil pan, but it would be highly unlikely and probably very damn hard. So there is your tip for that one. Install it the right way, you'll have nothing to worry about. Now we're going to get set up here and start working on the oil pan.